Guys, and thanks for joining me on a preview for Southampton versus Arsenal. Now, this is FA Cup quarterfinals. After a long international break, it felt really long, and we went into this international break on such a downer for me. That performance in the final with City was really, really like when you just see maybe I shouldn't be this confident with anything at all. But yeah, when push came to shove in the final of the Carabao Cup, we didn't turn up, did we? We just could not compete fully. We had so many chances which we didn't convert, especially in the first half. In the second half, forget it. It's like Man City knew how to pick us off. And they did efficiently, and we were cooked. So for that reason, I'm going to go through some of the potential lineup changes. And I think the last lineup on live score is the one we had versus City. But since then, we won't know exactly the changes that are going to be needed because we know a lot of our players had to pull out of international duty. They need to be looked after. And again, going to Southampton, maybe Arteta will think he doesn't need to risk all the players. But I know we need a pretty strong squad because you've seen how football is and how easy it can be for these clubs to come and play a certain way against Arsenal and get at least a draw or succeed. And we really make a meal out of everything. I've got a feeling this lineup that Southampton are going to play is going to be quite almost the same as has been presented their last game. They played Oxford United. Um, and this is how they lined up. Their keeper, I'm sure they're not going to use a cap keeper like we do, is going to be Daniel Perez, and then a back four of James Bree, Howard Bellis, Jack Stevens, and Ryan Manning. Uh, Flynn Downs holding midfielder, and then attackers got Archer, Azaz, Charles, Fellows, and then Style, Kyle Larin, to be Kyle, it can't be Sile, Kyle Larin. This is how they lined up the last time they played on the 21st of March. On the 22nd of March was us playing Manchester City. This is how we lined up. I'll put this lineup on and then hopefully we can see where things can change because of the injuries that have been reported so far. And the ones we know about, we literally went into that final in the Carabao Cup with like a few injuries. But still, I don't think that's why we lost. We lost because we just did not have a clue what we were doing. And yeah, we're just not used to winning, are we? We're just not used to it. So we had Kepa in goal. I don't think we're going to see Kepa ever again in an Arsenal shirt. It is literally suicide in the nicest possible way to play him for no reason. I wanted him to play because I said, you know what, he deserves his place as our final keeper. He's got us to this point, and that was all for it because fairness and stuff. But come on, guys, people like me have got no business managing enterprises like that, something as big as that, because we let our emotions rule reason. The two goals we considered, especially no, not the two, the first one we wouldn't have, because Raya would not have let that ball fly past him at all. Even the second one, he probably would have come out to catch it before it got to Nico O'Reilly's head. You probably would have. But I'm not going to overdo that blame game. But you know what? There's no reason to play Kepa. In goal, we should have David Raya. 100%. Back four, we played White, Saliba, Big Gabi, and Nkapie. Now, White, it was his first game back, I think, after a first game starting for a long time because Timber was out injured. We had really big issues. Mosquera probably could have started. But I think Arteta now wants that seniority, that confidence that White brings. Now with Ben White, he has been overlooked for some time because of Jury and Timber, the way he applies himself and just his doggedness, and also Ben White's propensity for injuries. And we can understand it. But he is back now. He played for England 2 games where they booed him. I mean, England fans are proper disgraceful. It makes it really hard. I support England, but sometimes I'm just like, it's because that's where I live. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't bother. They're very hard to like. Especially anyway, let's not go into it. But Ben White, he might start instead of Jury and Timber. I hope he starts. Saliba Saliba and Big Gabby both pulled out of international duty before they even went there. They didn't even turn up. They just said, we are not coming. We are fighting injuries. This has been the ongoing theme. Both, it's either one of them is out. This time they didn't go. But I've got a feeling the one, I don't know. I don't know how bad their injuries are. We're going to find out. So I'm going to leave them in there because we'll know probably tomorrow morning or later on today. I'm doing this on Friday, whether they'll be fit enough to get a start. Piero Hincapié, he came back from international duty with an injury. He didn't play their last game because he was injured. So I'm going to assume he's injured. We've got Calafiori who can play there. He played for Italy. They basically got dumped out of the World Cup from Bosnia and Herzegovina. To be fair, they were playing 10 men. I didn't realize until I checked everything. They played 10 men from the 41st minute. Bastoni got sent off. So that is probably why they didn't win that match in the end. But, that's just the way it is. I've got zero sympathy for Italy. Their attitude to Africa and the African Nations Cup and the African players and teams in the World Cup stinks. At least that's what their leadership present themselves as. So until they change that tune, me and Italy are on the outs. But Calafiore is in. He plays there instead of Piero Hincapié. He can rest for our next game. Now, Declan Rice as well, he turned up for England Cup. So Declan Rice's suitcases, I think, were empty because that guy turned up for like 20 minutes, watched the first friendly, and then the second friendly was like, I'm not in for this thing. Because they saw in the Uruguay match, did you see, was it Uruguay or Ukraine? I can never tell those two apart. I think it was Uruguay. The way they took out Noni Madueke in one of the challenges, I was like, Noni, what are you doing? How dare you even turn up? He was doing too much. The guy was flying around, putting in crazy challenges. And I'm thinking, hell no, don't do that. Hey, honestly, I wasn't happy. So anyway, Declan Rice, if he's injured, I think we can be fine because Christian Norgard should be fine to play in that position for us. So fingers crossed he's fit and he can play. But if it does, the noise that's going to create, hey, the Premier League is crazy. Or this your English league anyway. Martin Zubimendi also came back with an injury from the Spanish team. He also limped off. He came back for assessments. I hope he gets a rest. I've been very, very critical of Martin Zubimendi, but this stems not from him initially. This stems from the frustration of not replacing Thomas Partey. They didn't sell Martin Zubimendi as a replacement for Thomas Partey as a club, but I think fans sold it and they've been trying to push, oh, he's better than Thomas Partey, which he isn't. But it's because we are playing a game that suits Thomas more than Zubi. And yeah, to be honest, I think he is causing Declan Rice a lot of issues in terms of being more positive because Dec has to support him in his play. Now, I've been very critical and I wish I hadn't been that critical because I sort of now look and understand and I'm a lot more mindful because I've watched some of these games over and over again. We are basically asking this guy to do a job, a thankless task. He needs a third person for him to function. It should be 4-3-3, whereby instead of having a Saka there, we should have a Saka or maybe an Eze there. We should have another person in that midfield supporting Dec and him doing the defensive role, a more defensive role because he can't cut through lines. He can't carry the ball in the Premier League. He can't. In the English league, playing again, he cannot carry the ball from our defense. Basically, we need somebody to anchor. We need an anchor. We need a bridge from our defensive line to the Yoker is up front and we don't have it. And we are blaming him because literally he needs a third person in there support him. So I really wish I wasn't so critical, but it's so hard when you're watching and you want him to be that player. If we had Partey in there, would have worked this league, would have been 16 points ahead because we wouldn't have lost to Manchester United. That's for bloody sure. We wouldn't have lost to Aston Villa. But it happens because we needed him to come and play alongside Partey, and it just did not happen. it did not happen. Then we could have probably had, the Eze's, the Nonis, the Sakas to really, and the Yokeres to really push our offensive play. Anyway, I've gone into this thing has become, it's become my bugbear. I'm really like stressing myself out about what could have been. But we know why we can't have party. And I have to respect it as well because it's not like because I'm in support of anything that's happening in that area. It's just have to, at the end of the day, analyze the situation the way it is. So I was whining, wasn't I? Okay. So if these two, Rice and Zubamendi, if they don't play, we can have my baby boy, Miles Lewis Skelly. That's another topic which is really, really like winding me up. Miles Lewis Skelly should be playing in that midfield. I've been saying forever, please train this boy up to do this job. And look what they've done now. England under 21 are basically telling Arteta. That was a message to Mikel. That was a message to Mikel, like, Mikel, you need to sort your stuff out because you got this little. He should be going to the World Cup. Did you see the state of the England team? You know, there's no creative. Miles should be in that team going to the World Cup. I'm telling you, in that central midfield, he should be going. He shouldn't even be playing with that wing, left wing. I have to check my hand because I can't tell my left and right. So he should be going. He should be going. But anyway, let's not digress. But if either of these two are not playing, we can have Norgard and Miles in that midfield. I don't know how they'll fit. Just put them in there. They'll sort it out themselves. In terms of Leandro Trossard and Martinelli, did you see how well Martinelli did? We're playing for Brazil. He did really well. I think he scored a brilliant goal, but he was more central again. Please, Gabby, you need to be more central. This boy did not spend enough time learning his trade in Brazil. And this is the problem Brazil have got. They are sending their young children to the Premier League and they are destroying them. They need to be in Brazil until they're 24. Let them play until they're 24 in Brazil. Let them play proper football. They're most talented. Otherwise, they'll never win the World Cup again. Because look at Martinelli. This guy's got the best, some of the most brilliant pace, skill, but we have trained that instinct out of him because it's all about process. So when you get, anyway, but yeah, unfortunately, I can't see Martinelli ever progressing to being a great, great player because he is a product of the Premier League team. He's basically basic. It will just be, they've trained it out of him. He just won't benefit. But is it on that left wing, is it going to be Trossard or Martinelli? I think Martinelli should start because it's Southampton. Usually I am all for Leandro Trossard to start because of his maturity, but no. Let Nelly start, not that he deserves anything, but I think this game should be good, okay, for him to start. On the right, Bukayo Saka also did not play for England, fatigue, etc. He's struggling. This guy just came back from months and months of injury setbacks. Him and Noni on that side, Noni has done 100 times better than Saka on that right. But I know why. Arteta has been pushing Saka there because he's thinking about the last 3 games of the season and the Champions League. If we make it that far, he has to prepare because Saka, when he's on form, is our best player by 100 miles. Noni has been better, not because he's a better player, but he's more fit, he's faster. I think he's faster, he runs faster. But at the moment, Saka's injuries have really, really drained anything out of him. And you can understand it. So I would definitely, I think it's going to be Saka, but if Saka is not fit, then we are cooked, guys. Then we are cooked. Let me see, Arsenal. Let me see players, squad. Let's have a look at the Arsenal squad. Max Dowman. Why am I even? Max Dowman can start. Let him start this game. Yeah. So game over. Max Dowman to start there. And in fact, Saka has been put as one of the attackers, which is crazy. Anyway, Max Dowman can start there. We've also got Kai Havertz, who played against Ghana, did really well. I think he scored 2. Anyway, I saw him convert a penalty. I wasn't paying attention. Gabriel Jesus is fit as well to play. Honestly, we've got so many options. We've got so many options in terms of attackers. We don't even need to risk Saka. Noni, we know he's injured. He came off. Apparently, his injury that he sustained in that first friendly was not as bad as we thought, but we could see how his knee and ankle twisted. He was in a brace. We don't want them risked for this match. So we've got all sorts of options in there. Play either Jesus, Martinelli. Gyökeres is fit and handsome and looking absolutely powerful. Did you see the pose after the game when they qualified against Poland? Oh my goodness, you know Gyökeres, yeah, Gyökeres, you really, really need to come into your own because you deserve that pose at the end. If we win something, you'll be an icon, honestly. Amazing stuff. Noni should be injured. Eze, we know, is out 4 to 6 weeks, so we've got another month to go without him, which really makes me super sick. Marino out injured. Christian Noga should be fine. I've heard rumors that Odegaard might be fit, but Odegaard, we need to stop risking him so early. Bring him on as a sub, I think, for a few minutes, but he's really fragile. But for me, one of our best players, I really like when he's on form. I really love watching him play. And also got Mali Salmon in defense who we can play. The fact is, up front, we've got Gyökeres who can start. We've got Gabriel Jesus who can start. Kai Havertz can definitely start because we need some maturity. So if we do like a midfield of, if Deck and Martin are not fit, Zubimendi that is, we can have my baby boy Miles Lewis Skelly, Norgard, and Kai there, and then we can have Max Dalman on the right, and then we can have Martinelli, Gyökeres, or Jesus. In fact, yeah, play Jesus and Gyökeres. I'd like to see those two together because Jesus is absolutely electrifying when he's fit, but he hasn't been fit for a long time, and we know that he's on his way out at the end of the season. We just haven't been able to keep him fit. So I don't know what you guys think. I mean, away from home, it's very difficult for anybody, for Arsenal especially in this match in the FA Cup, but we are favourites. We should be able to win this. I am going to go for an Arsenal win. I think we should be able to win this quite comfortably. Let's go for a 2 or 3-0 win. Maybe concede one. Good. Let's do 3-1 win. But this will be a good opportunity to have a nice clean win, especially after that debacle at Wembley versus Manchester City. We need to come back strong. And unfortunately, Mikel Arteta has won Manager of the Month, Premier League Manager of the Month, which always signals disaster for other managers. I hope this is him breaking that curse. Otherwise, guys, this has been my preview of the Arsenal game. I haven't even seen the head-to-head stats for this match. Oh, let's do head-to-head over meetings. We have played each other a lot. Arsenal have won 21 times. Southampton have won 9 times, 11 draws, but in the last 5 meetings, we have had 2 draws. Southampton have won once and we've won 2 times, so it's been really, really, really iffy. 2025, we played them in the Premier League and we beat them home and away. Home and away. So we really are favourites in this match and we need to approach this match with the greatest of respect. And this is the Southampton versus Arsenal match. Guys, join me in another video where I'm going to look at the other games that are going to be happening in the FA Cup. We have got Manchester City versus Liverpool. Liverpool, Manchester City anyway. I don't think it matters because those guys are besties. That'll be the first game of the day in the morning. Afternoon, just before 1 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. we've got Chelsea versus Port Vale, Arsenal versus Southampton, and then we should have another game. West Ham versus Leeds is on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. So it's going to be a very good weekend for it. I'm looking forward to some amazing, amazing displays. It's going to be brilliant, you guys. It's going to be brilliant. So join me on the video where I have a look at my prediction video. I'm going to do a predictions video. So join me on that with a little bit of a story. And I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Catch ya.